Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Do Bonsai. I'm Scott Winard. We were going to start today by doing some kintsugi. The pot that I broke down at Crawley, I was just laying it all out. I got me gold dust, I've got me test kits to, you know, break a little pot and do a demonstration one to see if I can actually do it and what it would turn out like. And I was hit with yet another obstacle. I'll show you what I mean. So there's the pot, and the keen-eyed amongst you would notice that most of it's there. That would sit there, and then there's a big chunk missing here. When it fell, it must have scurried off into the distance. So the idea of kintsugi is gone because this part of the pot has gone. I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything to make that right, so we'll put all the bits to one side before we chuck it away altogether. And I think today we'll get on with planting the beech that we got from Birmingham. So let's get on with something productive. So we're all set up. You can see me in this camera and you can see me in this camera. So camera 1, camera 2, or is it camera 2, camera 1? Never mind. Right, let's pull this out of its potting position. It should hopefully come out quite well. It's got a couple of lips on, so we'll work it out of its tray. And we were going to leave these in, but Peter didn't like the way his looked. And then when I saw how Peter's came out following his repot, I was rather jealous and thought, yeah, we need to do the same. So we'll just pick away at some of this. There are some creepy crawlies in here, wood lice and things. So we're going to do yeah, there's quite a few wood lice in here. Yeah, let's start off with the little rake and just pull away from the roots. We do have these big surface roots that are going around. That's why we wanted the larger pot, because we've got the big surface roots to work with. Peter was saying that the soil his was in wasn't great, and he was quite happy to get it out of that soil, and it is pretty much soil, it's mud. So we'll not worry about the moss and stuff that's on here. We'll just look to get it away from the roots. So we'll just work that down. I might need to get a root hook for this. There's quite a lot of my little brass rake isn't really going to cut the mustard with that. So I've got a decent size hook here, which, yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. That's getting in and helping to pull away. Oh, brilliant. All that messing around sometimes with the little rake that I've got, this is going to do a good fine job. So we don't really want to ruin the roots, you know, we just need to free up the soil and get the soil away from the roots. So we'll take it carefully to work it all free. And we'll just lift it up and rake it through, get underneath. It's got some good roots on this. The soil isn't too bad. It's got plenty of grit in there in the mud, but it's not going to hurt getting it into our bonsai soil. I have mixed up a new batch of soil, pretty much equal measure of perlite. We've got the lava rock, we've got some fir bark chippings in there. What else did we put in? We put some absorbent clay particles in there. We did a better bit of research on the clay particles this time. Glad to say I didn't do the research, somebody else did in the club, and they got some particles that won't turn to mush like I had previously, and they'll withstand the water and being in the water, so hopefully we won't end up with that mush. We won't end up with that slushy mixture that I ended up with previously. But we'll just work away at these roots nicely. We are releasing them up quite well. It's all coming away from the root. Again, I want to get it as clear as I can without, you know, taking roots off, damaging too much root, etc. There's lots to go at. There's plenty of good root on here, lots of the fibrous roots, and we'll just work it as nicely as we can. So just working it away. We might have to take it for a wash at some stage, but we'll get as much. There's a lot of roots that are going and wrapping around. That one comes out, goes down, comes across. I'm not going to chop any of this off. Literally just want to free the soil up, free the roots from the mud. We may even leave quite a bit in there, maybe, we'll see. Just get to the, yeah, and there's lots of good solid root in there. I'll just get my little root rake, just get in there and just agitate. Just agitate the soil and get it out of the root mass. There's a lot of it. There's lots of the bugs in here, so we'll probably give it a good spray, we'll give it a good clean up, get as much of this cleared off as we can. Trying not to rip the roots, trying just to kind of stab it with the root hook and just allow the soil to fall away, so that the roots kind of stay. And just keep agitating, keep freeing up the roots. And there's lots of pockets of soil. It's going to be interesting to see what gets exposed. today's Wednesday, and tomorrow is the club meeting, the club get together, so I'm looking forward to that. I was going to take the weeping larch in to be air layered, but I'll find out later on whether or not Kay really wants that for the garden. If she really wants it for the garden, then let's have it for the garden, because it is a lovely tree, and as much as it would be nice to have it as a bonsai, it is a lovely tree, and I'd like to enjoy it just as much in the garden as I would as a bonsai, so I win both ways. So we've got lots of the soil agitated and moved, and the moss is coming free as well. Some really big pockets of soil just need working free. Big chunky roots underneath that are holding a lot in position, and I just need to make sure that we don't lose anything. But like I was saying, today's Wednesday, tomorrow is the club meeting, the Thursday, and then this weekend we've got Robert Atkinson coming to the club for some demonstrations. Different people have chose different days over the weekend. I've only chose the bank holiday Monday. I didn't want to be greedy. I see Rob a lot, but in order to support his visit to the club, I definitely chose one day to pay to go, and but that supports the club getting Rob to come. You know Rob, you've seen him, you've seen his trees. He's a fantastic artist. He's well known and well respected in the bonsai world, and it's a privilege to be able to call him a friend. I've had an awesome time recently with Rob and Ryan of Horton Bonsai, and this little network of bonsai, you know, the bonsai fraternity, or whatever you want to call it, you know, the people within the network, within the friendship circles, are just a fantastic bunch of people. So much so, as I mentioned on I think the last video, I've been invited to go to Scotland for the national show. I'm really looking forward to that, and it was an honour to be, you know, requested to go, invited, so that was really cool. So that is just really good, but that'll be next month, so you'll see a video on the Scottish show appear on the channel towards the end of May, and they'll have some fantastic trees up there. You'll have seen some previously where they've shown the Scottish guys have come down and shown in some of the other shows that we've done videos on, and yeah, just a fantastic group of individuals within the bonsai. You know, it's just such a good group of people, meeting new people all the time, and to be fair, I'm yet to meet a bad one. Maybe I'm the bad one. Anyway, right, we'll deposit that in there for now. We'll get this cleared up because it's full of woodlouse. In fact, I'll lift this out there. I'll get cleaned up and we'll come back. I'll wash these roots out a bit without damaging too much, but we need to get rid of these woodlice. So we're all cleaned up, and I've managed to just lift the pot into our workstation, and we've got this floppy tree flopping around. We're not going to raise it up at all because these higher roots are now well out of the planting. I think we might end up just, you know, holding the tree into the planting position and then just making sure that we get the soil all around it. So I'm just going to start scooping as much soil in as I can, and I think I'm going to use a larger implement for this little job, and I'm going to use the Let's Do Bonsai bowl that I got for a Christmas gift, and I'm just going to scoop the new soil mixture out and pour it in and around, because if I do it with the scoop, we'll be here all day. And seeing as I'm responsible for tea tonight, I won't be popular. So we'll just get that scooped in. And we'll just use my fingers just to push it in. The air gaps are that large that fingers are going to do a better job than chopsticks at this moment. And once we've got the soil in, we can just slide the tree around and work it into our position that we want it. It's pretty much there, but we just need to work the soil into the roots. And like I say, at the moment we can just do that with our fingers, and then when we water it, it should all work even further into the roots. We'll have to try and find some decent bits of moss for this, because it does look as if it could benefit from having some moss around it. No, still use the big scoop. I was going to switch to the smaller scoop. Just make it so that it's mounded up ever so slightly. Still lots of soil to get in round the back. Just took a hell of a lot of soil, this pot. We're not too bad at this now. It's amazing, it's a deeper pot, but the roots have come that little bit higher for some reason. Very strange. That root will be fine just outside the planting level, as long as it's not too much out. And we'll just pat it in, make sure that it's all there nicely, and we'll give it a good watering. So we'll come in with the large hose watering can and give it an absolute thorough watering, which it really does need, seeing as we've just fully agitated the roots and taken it out of the soil that it was in. And we'll water that fully. Yep. We'll let that soak through and we'll come back and water it again. So that's soaking in nicely. A couple of the roots are sticking out as they were, but then, you know, the feeder roots and the finer roots that came off that are further down. We'll leave this for about half an hour just to sit and soak, and then I'll come back in half an hour and give it a thorough watering again, and then we'll just try the oil. Once everything's watered through and done, we'll try the oil on this pot just to see if it improves it at all. It's only a cheap training pot. Pete wants to say hello. Come on, Pete, in you come. So he's coming in to inspect the situation, see what's happening. Is everything as it should be, Pete? Yeah, are we all good? Very good. So we'll give it, like I say, a good half an hour or so, and then we'll come back and water it in again. It should be, you know, it should be a decent mix for the tree to bed back in. I'll just check it. Yeah, it's pretty solid in there. That's it's actually moving the pot rather than moving the tree. So I'm happy with that so far. Let's let it sit and we'll come back and water it in about half an hour or so. Right, so we're back. It's had probably more than half an hour to let that soak in. The soil's looking pretty good there. We'll come in again with the large hose watering can and let it do its work again, and we'll give it a full all over watering and really get this soil nice and, you know, so it can soak up all that moisture into that new soil that's in there, because it'll be bone dry inside. And then we'll be sure to give it another good watering tomorrow also. So it seems to be in there really nicely. Quite happy with that. Just get it off the roots that are slightly exposed and allow it to do its thing. So I'm just going to move around a little bit. We'll let that soak for a little bit longer. We'll get the pot dried off, and then we'll come back and we'll have a look at the camellia oil and just see if it does anything to this pot. I'm not expecting anything great and fantastic to be done, but if it gives it a bit of a shine and makes it look any part of any bit nicer, then I'll be happy with that. So we're back. The pot hasn't fully dried out, and I do want to get it outside so I can just crack on with the rest of the day. So I'm just going to have a little test. I've got one of these microfiber yellow cloths. I'm going to just squirt a bit of oil onto it and then just rub that around the pot, just to see if it does anything. I think it does give it a nice covering. Probably worth doing. Gives it a nice shine anyway. Yeah, we'll do the front edge and leave the back edge, and then we'll come back to it in a few days and see if there's any difference to it. I might not have to think about using this cloth in future, because I can see where it's rough in a couple of places it does grab the cloth and pull the fibres. So the last thing we want is the fibres to be all over the pot. But around this edge it doesn't look too bad at all. It doesn't make a massive difference, but it does give it a nice shiny finish, almost like a glazed finish, I suppose. We'll see what that looks like tomorrow morning. It's only a stone pot, it's only, you know, a coloured stone pot, but it will be interesting to see how nice that finishes. It's nice and soft, and, you know, it's nice and smooth to the touch, and only doing that bit will give us a nice chance to see all the differences. Yeah, we'll see if we can get a bit of a close in on that, so you can see the shine coming off there. It was very dull before and you wouldn't have seen any of this shine and reflection. You can see on the back there it's very dull, so there'd be no reflection. So we'll see how the oil soaks into it or sits on it, and it might be something that we do going forward. But it does make the pot look nice and shiny. Now through the camera it looks fantastic, and it doesn't look too dissimilar in person, but the camera really brings it out. It looks really nice. So that's our beech repotted into its nice pot, and we'll get that put outside so it can carry on getting ready to push them buds out. So after a little bit of disappointment today, we did get something done. It was only a quick repot on the beech, but something's better than nothing, I suppose. So until the next one, get out there and make the best of the rest of your day. Be kind to each other, animals and the planet, and as always, I'll see you again in the next one.